nice to see you all here. Thank you very, very much for coming. This is the second night of our 2 nights of Prose Were The Days. I wanted to share with you a little bit about the work and where it came from, and about the title too. So first of all, we have a poetry show every year. The students had chosen the work they wanted to read, and they memorized it and were ready to roll. And then on Friday, our incredible creative writing 2 fellow instructor, poet, writer, amazing human being, Lena Joshi, who is with us for the 2nd year in a row, said, Heather, look at this. Look at the projects the students turned in for poetry. And I look at one of these, a film video that one of our students, Sophie, had done about her mom. And I've always felt such an affinity for Sophie and Sophie's mother, who's no longer with us, because her mother and my mother share the same name. So I watched this video, and it's like they absolutely provide the rationale for the title, which I had been questioning, because this is a poetry show, but my students are super insistent. They go, Prose Were The Days, Prose Were The Days. And also, this is my last year here. I'm retiring at the end of the year after I started the department 22 years ago, so it's time for someone else. It's time for someone else to come in. And I'm hoping Christian Wilburnhurst's here, so I'm going to ask him to stand up, hoping that he might consider replacing me next year. So, and he'll be teaching fiction with us in the spring. But that Prose Were The Days creates the poetry that is today. So Sophie's mom is no longer with us. Prose Were The Days, but Sophie's here. Sophie's the poetry that lives on today, right? And that's sort of how I've been thinking about the title and the people who are, some of the individuals who are referenced in the evening. And so I just wanted to ask Lena to stand up too, because Lena's really wonderful, has been so great. And I appreciate them so much for everything. And Isaiah, who is here too. And if you're not signed up for art and film, Isaiah's going to be right there at the door, and you better sign up for San Francisco Art and Film for Teens on your way out, because it's your free ticket to everything in the city that we can't afford. Like for me, going to the opera, I can get really good seats to the opera thanks to Isaiah. And the symphony, and I saw Michael Tilson Thomas's last concert. Thank you, Isaiah. So it's really great. So if you're not on their mailing list, you should be. And then last thing, and then I'll be quiet, to Tech, because Tech, had figured everything out. And then I threw at them all of these videos and other stuff the last minute. And of course, Tech is so pro. They can do anything. And they did. So, yeah. Okay. I think I said probably more than I needed to, but I think you won't have to listen to it after June. Okay. Take care. Enjoy.
I am making this a safe space, everyone. What is said here does not leave. You can say anything, and I will not abandon you, okay? Before we begin, these are what I'm calling the Dominic Affirmations. I want everyone to repeat after me. I am here, I am ready.
I am here, I am ready.
I am kind to myself, I am kind to others.
I am kind to myself, I am kind to others.
I am different and am welcome.
I am different and am welcome.
I have value, I matter.
I have value, I matter.
We stomp to believe it. Now, if no one else wants to, I'll start. I am meant to be living, so I'm sorry if I'm being weird. It's my first time, and I'm just excited to be alive sometimes. I want to be friends with everyone in the world, and I want to stay alive so I can watch the sunsets and the birds and the flash mobs and the stupid pranks until the average U.S. temperature is 12 degrees hotter and the phrase critical thinking has been removed from the dictionary. I want to keep living. I'm not mad at myself for loving. I'm ready to love and be loved. I have the capacity to be happy, and I will work to fulfill it and improve myself. Though this does not mean that I am broken, just naturally imperfect as all things are. I'll be okay, I think. I have to be. Who wants to go next?
I think her way of smiling is sweeter than the sun. I've replayed her voice on the radio in my mind, transcribing, morphing, remembering her raspy vanilla words. She's left the vessel that speaks and used to look at me with the understanding that we belong with each other. I know we'll always be tethered to one another, even if she lives among the stars. When she left, I found myself standing in an ocean of silence. I was silent as my grandfather and I held in our hands a box of her ashes over the surface of Long Island Sound. I'd like to think she's still around. Wind and ocean foam like to carry the soul through time and through space. A soul burrows into the subconscious, walks between shadow and light.
A moment of hesitation named warmth. I found myself in this cradling cocoon. The night before's promise echoes through my head. Wake up at 7. I watch the hands on the clock tiptoe past the hour. I lay, netted, in my bed. Good intentions for myself slip through the strainer of wakefulness like grains of sand. I didn't wake up at that time. Should've, could've, didn't. A moment of hesitation named warmth. Hot cocoa sits in the depths of my stomach. Don't drink it. I drank it. The cup poured like an hourglass. I was aware. I guess I didn't care. My judgment is clouded. Self-doubt continues to rise, and planes rise through those clouds, casting shadows over my resolve. I doubt I'll ever make the sacrifice to do what's best for me. I'm unreliable. I guess I don't want change enough.
Death, doubt, and dirt. I'm lying in things. Take this as a blessing, a dream, in which you are lying in things. In a puddle, in a waterlogged version of yourself, full of your insides, reflections, doubts. You are only lying in things, lying to yourself. You really think you can achieve anything other than lying in things. There's no movement of your eyes, mouth, ears, nose, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, because procrastination makes you stay, living, still, doing nothing but lying in things. Procrastination? No. Doubt. Yes, procrastination. No. You really think you can? The filth of the water won't run away till you use its kin to kill it. Lying in things. The street lamps flicker, breaking to the point of no return and back again. Shattered. Gone. If only they could leave this vessel of blood, doubt, dirt, doubt, death. Lying in things. Hope, an arm outstretched to the face of death, doubt, and dirt. I will do this no more. No more lying in things.
I understand if you're angry. Dad, I need to. No, I can't. I won't. I need to. But I can't. What will happen? No, I know. It won't go well. I can't do that. Dad, no, you'll be mad, disappointed. That's putting weights on my intestines. I can't have you disappointed. I need you to be proud. But, Dad, I need to say that I'm sorry, never mind. Even though nothing has changed on your face, I know what you'll say. I know you'll be mad. I know you'll be disappointed. I know that I'm failing. Dad, I need to tell you something. My throat is coated in cough syrup, and I vomit up every last word. There's a bitter taste in my mouth. I can't tell if it's anxiety or honesty. Your face has changed. It's just as I feared. You look sad? For what? Sad for me? You feel bad for me? But I failed you. I'm a disappointment. How could you look at me and feel bad? Didn't I disappoint you? Your words hurt more when they're the ones I can tell that you mean. The ones that are coated in a golden film, not the sticky tar that covers your lies, but a shining finish that carries truth. I hate the look on your face when you tell me that you love me. Tell me you always will.
What the devil dreams about. It's boredom. Is that what pushes people to the edge? Over the ledge of sanity? Of tranquility? They say it's the devil who holds the threads that move us, puppeteering, dominating free will till it becomes free obedience. We are not holy. We are not good. Every day towards hell we descend one step, without horror, through stinking darkness, putrid air like gas burning away our sense of smell, our sense of humanity. Stupidity, error, sin, negligence occupy our minds and work our bodies, offering no time like the good time now that was never once good, because our sins are stubborn and our repentances are cowardly. We find attractions in disgusting objects, amazement in death, in killing, in torturing. We revel in it. On the pillow of evil, it is Satan, who laughs because he need not labor to cause distress. He knows it's just our soul, because when we breathe, it's hard not to hear the death in our lungs. We are paid handsomely for our confessions, nourishing the barbarism that inhabits our heads, and we argue that we are not really evil, only cruel. And yet, among the beasts and creatures all, the worst remains a two-legged monster, with eyes, hands, feet, and a brain. Hypocrites, all of them.
Fourth of July had passed. I couldn't find a single hair. That chalky brindle fleck once littered my carpet, smelled of wood and dust, furrowed into my clothes like splinters, and embedded parasitically in my meals. Our deli meats haven't disappeared as swiftly as they used to. My mother's car held clumps of these hairs from when we carried her husk to the vet. I tumbled with no seatbelt in the trunk, trying to keep her from floating away. Me and Dad sat in the car that night, watching the sky for a glimpse of her outline, chewing shooting stars. She never really enjoyed fetch. Took me a while to remember all the times I'd laid with her, impatient but instinctive, shrouding her velvet ears from celebrational sparks and door slamming. Now just frantic, sobbing onto the tip of her dry nose when I could no longer feel her shit breath and slobber on my face. And when I saw her, paw print in a picture frame collected like backyard dust in a box on Dad's desk, I longed for them, those white-tipped hairs stuck in between my teeth and left on my mind.
Her blue quilt. Alma's palms are soft, like nasturtium petals. My hands have grown incubated in hers. Her skin, my fertilizer, my nurturing soil, dewdrops, sun, that seeps into my pores until my fetal fingertips blossom into adolescent hands.
I try not to cry because my tears won't make Alma's palms any softer. Because salt water isn't a remedy, and no matter how much I weep into her smooth wrinkles, I can't wash away the illness sleeping in her bones. I can only wait with her. I sometimes mourn my future self, picturing my hands grasping at the silhouette of Alma's hands when they are only moving memories, barely tangible, dewdrops evaporating slowly. I can't imagine my future self, my feet carrying me through life without Alma feeling behind me, nudging me forward with her velvety firmness. Without her humble floral quilt sewn to my spine like a cape. How will I fly? She calls me sweet girl, and I think of nectar. Think of the acorns of pastel pebbles I bring home to her for my hike through the canyon back from preschool. She tells me I can stay with her whenever. If I'm sick of my parents, if I'm lonely like a baby again, I can rest on that old mattress where she would snuggle my innocence. The pillow still smells like her rosemary nightgown. Lullabies about traveling toys and matzo ball soup. Alma sleeps in the chair now. I remember fidgeting in her apartment's elevator, gliding up to the first floor, every second pulling me closer to her door, towards a familiar, buttery giggle when she'd see me, like rain pattering on oak leaves. I guessed where she'd be each time, and each time she was bundled in her handmade quilt, cozied up like a hummingbird in her plump blue chair. Alma's palms are soft, like nasturtium petals. And this year I will watch my fingertips bloom into adult hands until they are big enough that I can hold all of her and watch her flower like I hope to do someday.
Lung study. Lungs can only fill so much until I need to ask the sky for help. Walking, shoeless, to the speed bump in front of my house, staring at the moon until I am dizzy, can no longer balance on the reflective painted arrows. When I'm the only one in the whole world who is breathing, opening my mouth to trade a breath for the company of stillness, the worn velvet atmosphere collapses, like a lung, like the feeling of a weighted blanket, leaking beads that skitter across the floor, like the feeling in my skeleton as I dream about the time I said the perfect thing and she kissed me. Back when I wasn't conscious of breathing or of my words, back before both inevitably collapsed. The lung has gone cold now, so I will reach down my throat to prod the lifeless organ, limp on my stomach, and I will breathe manually for the rest of my life.
Please never jaywalk. Not across an empty street or across an active intersection. Bearing the legal consequences in mind, but never the physical. Scorn from street drivers isn't enough to dissuade, nor is scorn from ambulance drivers. I am invincible, despite the statistics and despite the fact my puffer lacks airbags. What is it that so desperately cannot be missed? Cutting stoplights doesn't make the 43 arrive 15 minutes sooner, and frankly, I'd rather be 15 minutes late. Or just absent. I want to cut all classes and ties to responsibilities, but ironically, I have responsibilities. Responsibilities telling me to do the right thing, or to do anything, when all I want is to do nothing. Something keeps nagging me to miss the ride to school, to sprint across the street onto the bus home. I have to tell myself to never jaywalk when I know there's no cars on the blind turn. I have to tell myself to get out of bed instead of feigning illness for the third time in a row. Waiting for self-driving cars because I can barely drive my own body. Waiting for something to be upset at besides myself. Like these rules and laws keeping me in place, telling me what I have to do and what I can never do, when the person truly stopping me is myself. Because nobody will see me and nobody will care. Never jaywalk.
Unlovables. Because we were two unlovable people trying to create something out of our capacity. She told me she loved me. Unmistakably, I had fallen for her lies because part of me hoped that she wanted to be something again. She soaked me in her love, and I had fallen for the grace she gave me. I wanted to love so badly, I was willing to fall in love with a lot. If only it meant she would acknowledge my presence one more time. Naively, I thought she was willing to go back, rewrite the past, erase all the stories we had made, make something new. But I realize now what lies I have fallen for again. Because I am an unlovable person. I don't take long to fall in love with, but I take even less time to fall out of love with. And I think that she knew that I was so lovable. But part of me thinks that maybe she knew she was lovable too. So I had fallen for the lie of I love you, because part of me really wanted her to. And so I made a line of my own that I called I love you too.
Good night to the black hole. Tonight, I whisper you an ode as I fall asleep. It goes something like this. We on the same earth, in the same bed, beneath the same black hole that wishes to steal us. And all I can think about is how grateful I am to know it won't get to us yet. Allow me to cherish this seizing moment. The lapping of your riverly breaths, your white noise snores against TV static, the mischievous winds reeling in from the jar window, and a night we feed our forsaken dreams into. Allow me to place myself onto your supple eyelids, melt into your oozing drool, and the stray tears relinquishing on your pillowcase. I promise I'll not ask for anything more than this. You once told me the most beautiful things are the most temporary, and I must tell you this now or else I think I'll never be able to. Tonight is extraordinarily breathtaking, and I dread its beauty so much. I'm crying myself to sleep again.
It's in my eyes, hollow and vague. It's in my bleak, sallow skin and in the way I bite my knuckles. You can see the scratch marks on my walls from the nights I tore at my hair, hoping it would magically cut itself the way all the other boys had it, simultaneously clawing at my chest so I could finally be rid of the thing, and I could be normal, just like all the other boys. It's in your heart, the one I swallow out of nothing but sheer, lustful gluttony. The hand-me-down mirror on the wall reveals the blood on my sordid stained body. I'm sorry. No other boy could look like this, my family would tell me. Could you forgive me for tearing your heart out in your sleep and eating it whole? I'm sorry, okay? I could never love you the normal way, the way the boys in Minnesota or some other loser state may love each other. Maybe it's because I don't look like the others. I just never liked the other boys, and I'm sorry for that. But could you at least help me wash the grime off? And at least pretend to love me the way I've always loved you.
An all-consuming citrus picked from a brownie tree during a green fall. I haven't seen the sea in years. The rest fell and created a fermented bed. Fermented soil created the fruits display. But can you really credit nature? Thunder Cody, however. A blue sky and many gray pictures. In the citrus tree, the liquid bubbled, attracting many. There was no bird, just a dark spot that was never fully empty. The tree kept growing citrus, but only received acidity by the turn. We turned into leaf. Heaven five, the tree thrived, but the food perished.
Swing Set Thoughts, Part 2. The sky and the sand switch with every whip of my legs, and I can't help but think of you. Pink and purple ink look the same on green. Did you know? I tried drawing a flower on green construction paper, an early Christmas decoration. Instead, I got dark smudges. You would have laughed, taken my hand and redrawn it, pointing at the color wheel on my notebook. I think it's time for me to learn if hate and love truly are synonymous, 'cause writing about your abandonment isn't the same as writing about the rusty fence excluding me from my elementary school playground, though both are full of holes. Growing up isn't made of fun realizations anymore. I used to think I lived in a movie, that the songs in my head were the soundtrack. But love, my soundtrack is Gracie Abrams, Lana Del Rey, 'Tis the Damn Season, and I'm starting to get worried. I didn't sign up for a tragedy. But heartbreaks don't happen on the swings. You told me that on the first night.
Forget-me-nots. I resurrect you in the evening, when my hair is wild and boyish. You twirl in a nightgown and shake your head so the hair floats in front of your face. Your body is a paring knife through the chlorine, covered in forget-me-nots. I myself am clad in the little blue flowers, patterned like constellations all over my body, a fuzzy carpet under my clothes threatening to skewer the fabric and poke through the eyelets of my shoes. I have to coax you from a cardboard box I left in the jungle, shot through with hairy green vines that leave punctures like black holes. You're folded up there. Smelling of clean laundry and baby powder, you emerge. You tiptoe into my brightly lit bathroom as if you exist on glazed china, constantly skimming over my dents and my fragile, too pretty, too ethereal, too unbelievable. I'd like to tell you off, dismiss you like a bratty younger sister, but you enthrall me to clumsily trampling our dell of forget-me-nots you forgot was yours, and not just mine. Lately I'm worried of disturbing you. You who had all the aspirations, you who have seen the way they morphed into me. The way a decadent quality seeps into my voice haunts me as I follow myself back through the jungle of me to the too clean swimming pool of you and all the way out to the ocean. The way sand rims my face like bird stubble and I walk home wearing a bracelet of seaweed. burning my own complexity back into myself.
Flower Girl. Some see objects in the earth where I see not. Eyes in the oceanic sky peering down on my limp, overturned body. I see golden beetles in pupils and stardust on skin, though nobody has seen like that. Not when I have grown moss out of hair follicles and flowers out of fingertips so that I can blend into the ground. The floating eyelids above blink to find me, but now I am breathing inside the earth. Where footsteps and handprints on my flesh make marks and bruises that are only visible in the night, when the world is dim and I can wander without wandering glares. The moon is the only one who's truly heard my cry, seen my hurt, and listened to my poetry. The shriveled up poetry that only have fragments of me, tiny remnants that shout that I was here. And although I'm almost down to dirt, people pick my flowers, and every person I've ever met has taken a piece of me.
Spun. I think it was life. There. Sitting, running, texting, watching the world spin around the sun I cannot trace as I twirl the other way, just trying to catch up. And when I do, I find myself walking on toenails. As an arborist, my shears grow dull. As a metal worker, they forget the feeling of flesh meeting flesh. On my silver heel, I speed dial an optometrist for a pair of swirl-tinted glasses, rimmed with pearl tears, rose petals, chopped rosemary tea, and sliced water of a swimming pool or a salt bath. The sun moves differently on each day, and I must dance. The decisive snow listens to argumentative essays, and I must sit. The weeds are plucked for flowers, but go on, and I watch. And through it all, the fog threads.
Erosion. I assimilated to the idea that to be a rock is to be praised, to be stable and undaunted by the cold, heat, rain, lightning, punishment from the heavens, a monument standing alone. I traded my heart for a rock and complained about why my chest felt heavy. I repelled the waters and complained about why my tears never came. I was stable. But what does stability do against the invasion of ice in the cracks? We are not rocks, I tell you. We are trees. Our hides have become so battered that they have been mistaken for stone. They cannot see that we grow when the raindrops peck our cheeks and our real rocks crumble in the deluge. They do not know that our roots do not compete, but intersect and interact and intertwine as they search for sustenance. I wonder if they've ever taken a biology class before. Because if they did, they would know that we scream in pheromones, wrap our branches around obstacles to create erratic formations that pierce the skies, and create canopies to protect our younglings. We do not resist, we adapt, we shed dead weight while frigid, we soak like sponges in the drought, we swim instead of sink and drown, and spark new life in the blaze that comes after the firebolt. We are survivors, not victims. We have struggled to be stones because we are not monoliths. And perhaps I should allow this boulder of mine to break.
You told me that I cannot love. You told me that I was a bird without wings, that love was an illusion to dash me to the ground. You told me that pain was a tiger. Pull my wings out of my back while I writhe in agony. You told me that love is false, and I believed you. And I felt like a bird without wings, a bird that'll never fly. It was easy for wingless stuff to never feel the tiger's claws. But if love is false, then what is it I feel? What is it I feel when I watch the waves crash over red rocks? For every grain of sand I can run through my fingers, I'll never get that sand back. Love is an illusion, you say. It will bind me for the tiger to catch. I can see that the tiger has caught you already, mauled you with its teeth and claws, but then what is it I still see in your eyes? Eyes that are as cold as blood leaking from open wounds, scars that will never fade from the tiger's claws. If love is false, then why do you scream for me to grow wings I can never grow? No, I think it is real. I will not let the tiger tear my wings out so that they are the color that wants. I grow my own wings. I'll not let you tell me that love is false. I will see the love in your cold eyes. Look, I can fly.
Every time I go outside, the rough waves of the unbalanced world nauseate me, make me queasy, and force me back into the comfort of my dim, cream-colored room. My mind was tiny, squeezed too small by the hands of fear, and wired to believe that what I had never seen before would hurt me. But through another pair of eyes, I could peer out of a rose-tinted window, no matter how hesitant I was. With the fabrics of my world in the hands of a person worthy of my trust, my mind was readily able to be enlightened or dimmed even further and diluted down to the shallow waters of what I wanted to see. But she taught me how to crave the world, how to run my tiny fingers through the rings of a fallen tree trunk, exploring what I had deemed as disgusting. She made me realize that beauty was everywhere, not just in my guarded home with walls of glass. Through her magnanimous heart, she mended my shrunken mind and showed me that if there is beauty in my heart, there will be beauty every time I go outside.
Being rained on by needles and disbelief. It hit me, this delayed response, and I was trained for praise, not resentment. I was brave for being sick, now I'm bleeding. More than I did when I was mature, numb, and unthoughtful. It hit me when the needle was so to pierce it knocked me to the floor, so I dragged it through my flesh, pressed it into the wall like a pushpin glowing. I cried, at last. I'm choosing to pretend that I don't need it. Prove to me that I am sick. Kill me, and maybe then I'll believe the healers who say that they can't heal me. They say someday I'll be cured. But it hit me. The fake, the scheme, the theatrical lie of it all. Sick, sick. No, I'm not sick. Just a little naive, a little too trusting, a little too lyrical, a little too full-hearted, a little too many beating organs. But now, I admit, all intact. But would they ever call me brave again? I wonder in my revelation. Because they called me brave when they said I was near death. And certainly I was strong when I laid in a hospital bed. But certainly this unadulterated hoof would carry their words way, way, way down the deep canal where the memories of IVs and EKGs feast. But I feast on their eyes of pride, and in turn, yes, in turn, I've decided to keep up the act of my leaving this world for their admiration. Yes, yes, I'll let them pretend cure me, and I'll win some big award, and they will put me atop their shoulders, but it hit me. And I wonder how long it took for me to notice. The audience. Yet still, I'm adorned by the needles that drip the liquid that claims to save my life as my parents' life savings drip into money-hungry hands. Oh, my scar-tissued belly is beginning to ache at the thought that I've been playing along this whole time. And every day, I was just being a little dizzy. Little nonsensical me, a girl, only pretty for being the doctor's most willing guinea pig, a smile, only glowing when it borders heartbreak, but never crosses.
Her standing above my chest with her short, unwilling breaths, and over the barricades bolt I rise in shock, in confusion, frail, faking, phoenix-esque, at last allowing my heart to bleed out, and still too weak to let myself die in the name of a fairy tale disease that I, like a child, still believe in.
You tell me betta fish are kept alone because really they're called Siamese fighting fish, and they will fight each other to the death if they have to spend another second together. I learn even flowers have feelings, so I try and avoid killing anything in case it comes back to get me. We use magnifying glasses and melt crayons into swords. I have always been the observer. Antoine sips 7-Up from a styrofoam cup and tells me about his Scorpio grandma who will never ever die. DeMario asks me if I have a good gaydar because the guy he's been talking to apparently has a Miami Instagram influencer girlfriend. He tricks himself into loving women with BBLs and those fucked up plastic surgery cheekbones. Inside a Guitar Center, I look to his mouth and try and count how many teeth he's lost since he's moved to the city, and if it has anything to do with the blood on his pants. It doesn't, just my confirmation bias becoming some sort of holy faith. Alone, I learn the search for God is a racing horse. Dog fighters, a radioactive fish with 3 eyes. I am a walking grenade, a one-woman war for gasoline, and at this point, I feel like I'm 100% pure angel. At this point, I feel like I'll say anything to sound funny or smart if I'm lucky enough. I spit saliva and it doesn't want to leave me. It's embarrassing to have spit stuck to your chin. My world is sitting on the curb next to me. Hold your phone to my ear, play me music. Turn the volume all the way up and let the bass sound like hitting my funny bone. Is it weird that I feel sick all the time? 2 years ago, I thought everything I said was either funny or so embarrassing I should never talk to these people again. So maybe I can change. Tonight, let me mimic your body language. I've learned nonverbal communications that when you move your hands in emphasis, you really want me to hear you. Tonight, let me become what swallows me.
How could you do this to me? 1 year we've navigated life's thrilling journey side by side, and you just up and leave me like this? I know, I haven't been the best roommate. Sure, I leave crumbs everywhere. And yes, I never do the dishes, mostly because I don't use them. It's fine, I stay up all night, I don't pay my rent, but why should I if I never shower? And so what if I don't get along with your stupid cat? She tries to kill me every time I leave my room. I know you didn't think that you wanted a rat as your roommate, but oh, what fun we had together. Remember when we were watching a movie and we shared popcorn? I mean, you didn't know you were sharing at the time, but you had to have known that popcorn is my favorite snack, and that's a kind gesture, in and of itself. Or how about that time you knit me a blanket? Even though it looked like more of a beanie than a blanket, it was still quite comfortable. Next time a cotton blend would have been nicer though. You know how my fur gets. Look, what I'm trying to say is that our real friends are the ones we didn't even know we had. I've literally been living in your walls this entire time, and you had no idea. How cute of a story is that? But now you're leaving me because of some rodent problem? The only rodent in this house is you.
I've been nothing but kind to you ever since I moved in. I listen to your awful singing in the shower. I tolerate your evil, uncivilized beast of a cat. And I even made you dinner that one time. Okay, that last one may have been a lie, but a warranted one at best. This is outrageous. Where am I going to live once I've been kicked out? Back to the sewers? Do you know what the upstate apartment rats say about sewer rats? Do I even have to say it? But most importantly, what am I going to do once you leave? I may have just been using you for your scraps and food, but how could I help it if you were such a messy eater? I guess there's no changing your mind. After all, I am just a rat, and you are just a hopeless college student who can't clean after himself. I do hope you have a good life, knowing you just ruined mine. Sincerely, your very unhappy roommate.
The moon descends to shed light on where the dead gods lie. And lie they do and do more until they're all dead again. Having led astray their beggars, the faces beyond their heads twisted by a half smile. The extreme of the terminus waits for the moon. The changing of the tides, a knell for kneeling before the old new order made old again. For they left to lie to another who would suckle off of their aura, without the mind's eye to say or think otherwise. Left alone to watch where the moon said the dead gods die.
What we do when things fall apart. Cry. I remember your hair first slackened and soaked with our special little potion salt, like the oceans I swam in, clutching crabs I thought were seashells, toes curled round the rotted wood of the boat dock. Salt like the taste of the bitter you bit off your fingers as you stood, shaking backstage soft and then hardened into my arms. Tears soaked through the shirt that you wore, the PJs I wore. I wiped your eyes with, I then wiped my eyes with. And second, eyes in the humidity of the hall, rimmed in that bright red like a strawberry jam. Eyes watered like a rain-battered flower. He let me in. Through a side door, showed me certain parts of the place. It was the first time I felt like I really knew you, yet somehow, still, I didn't know you at all. Not yet. And then there's the after when a woman in a long skirt bends and takes water from our ocean. Braid fluttering in the wind, she trails ajar in the surf. She takes a part of us away. We can no longer wash to shores in entirety again, and so we fragment further, attempt to find dwellings for smaller portions of ourselves, bite-sized pieces different people find easier to digest. We plan to return, but when the woman never returns, having gifted that small piece of us to a friend, a child, a lover, we know we must reform without it. And we do, tides turning hard. So the next time we break, the cracks aren't felt as badly. Still, to say it is expected the next time would be a lie, and to say we feel whole once we have hardened, well, that would be one too. We do feel safer, after all. It is so much easier to take from those who have known nothing taken from them than from those who defend against it. We are human. We are human. We are human, and as we washed ashore, you and I, forgetting how to swim, although we know how, I will remember your eyes, the way we consoled one another with stories, and the way you let me wipe your tears, and then, without question, turned and wiped mine.
Santo Domingo. Picture the world as postcard. Frame perfect palms line the sandy beaches, the sky blue waves lazily roll in and out, and the sun beats down hard on three gradient backs. Picture The typical nuclear family sends an electron by the standards of one who knows that the circumstance is just out of his control at this point, so he merely grimaces and poses uncomfortably in the familial embrace he's grown used to. Picture a bare-legged gaggle of bodies, each of varying, beautiful shade, all of them loving each other. Picture the immortal openness of skin and kissed by soul's timeless rays. God might have made immortals of us had we been any less picturesque. Picture a single moment in time frozen in cardstock and printer ink. Now I think, just what would I sacrifice for the moment to be my forever?
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. Girlhood. I'm told girlhood is short and sweet. Girlhood means I'm meant to be, I want to be, sugar, spice, and everything nice. And that is femininity? Picked apart and put back together in every wrong order. I am a girl. I am fragile like a bomb that lingers in the back of my throat, bittering my tongue like Tanqueray. A mind rubbed away like carpet burn. I am pores clogged with the spit of a man trying to sink into my skin a little deeper. I am silent. As I try so desperately to catch each tear and shove them back into my eyelashes so maybe they'll grow. But I am as dank as my washed up eyes as they tell me, you are a woman now. And I fear that is worse. Because the wreckage of our worlds looks a little prettier when we're young, before we can understand that beauty is pain and pain is the true divine feminine that I hate so dearly. So society kisses my cheeks in my final throes, lips wet with the shame it spilt all over me for being something as disgusting as a woman.
It's a Texas summer and the Midwest feels too small for any girl. Her heart already the size of the stars. She knows all dogs go to heaven, but good girls dance into a universe 6 blocks before the highway, where she can be a coffee-colored angel, waiting for a dead musician, her man, who's a decade older than her spine, a spine still learning to sway. A passion flower she'll ride shotgun in his grandmother's old blue Cadillac, big trunk for big bodies, as his voice courts and holds her sleep and sweetness. When she awakes, she'll bat baked, broken lashes and jump out of the car, glowing in dark morning. She'll undress her heart in the intersection's fists, spin her skirt into a parasol, and shift spoon-fed weight to keep her balance. In the two-toned, two bright lights of streetlit avenues. When the road dissolves her like a pill on its tongue, hard to swallow, she'll be robed in red and bathed in blue, delighted to be warm, desired, and loved. She'll glitter so honestly as she dances with ghosts, free and sweet talking as she vanishes into the night, before the sun has a chance to raise her again. Thank you.
so much, everyone, for coming to our show tonight. Give it up for yourselves. And give it up for all those amazing poems and films that you just saw. We have all grown so much as writers and as people from being in this department. And we're so grateful to have gotten to spend these 4 years here. And with you, Heather, you're such an incredible role model. And it's just amazing to think about all of the different people and lives you've impacted from being the head of this department for so many years. It's amazing. And we just feel so lucky to be part of this class. And I'm going to remember this department so fondly.
Thank you to everyone who came tonight to celebrate the seniors and Heather's last writing poetry show. This department has become the best 4 years of my life, and this has become my second home, my second family, and I'm just so grateful to be here with you all tonight.
Now, I know I said all this last night, but I'm going to say it again. Thank you so much for all of the support you have given, not just me, but everyone in this department. And I want to value you for not just being a teacher, but a supporter, a confidant, and most of all, a friend. Thank you.
And also to the many other people who helped this go, like Isaiah, an invaluable part of your department experience.
I'll just echo what all of my seniors have already said and what I said last night. Heather, we all love you so much. We're so grateful to have had not only the last 4 years in creative writing, but also like last 20 plus years with the school. And tonight to really honor you, celebrate you, and just allowed us to touch so many more hearts with your poetry. So thank you. I'd also like to take a moment to extend some gratitude to our artist in residence, Lena Troshi. Thank you so much. Along with Heather and along with Isaiah, PS is amazing. You're one of the wonderful people that helped us put on this production, that nurtured our voices and everything for the last weeks. And we're just eternally grateful. So thank you all.
And thank you to Tech for helping us.
Thank you, everyone, and good night.